Excellent. So, without further ado, if it's okay with everyone in attendance here today, and thank you all for having taken the time, we will jump right in and keep things moving here. Um, so, uh, my name is James. I'm the gentleman to the left of the screen here. Working with my colleague here, Nikhil, who's our product manager for M365 here at Sherweb, and I help on the sales side of the house, mainly around enablement. Some of our marketing initiatives as well it's a team effort, right? As it should be, as many of you get the experience by working with us. It really does take a proverbial village, if you will. So Nikhil and I are just two of the many members dedicated to Microsoft here at Sherweb. So what we have in store is going to be like this, right? So it's not going to be too intense over the next maybe 45 minutes or so. We will be looking at some big news. So Microsoft, for the uninitiated, rather, does tend to make a change from time to time, perhaps stretching a deadline or advancing others. So we'll take a look at some of these that are upcoming and what's immediately impactful for what concerns you as largely our partner base. For anyone who is not yet a Sherweb partner, this will give you just some insight as to how we operate, as transparent, as forward thinking as possible to help it keep everyone ahead, keep everyone safe, otherwise said, and as efficient and definitely profitable as possible. Then we will look at some of the next steps, and again, just some of these changes. What is a legacy? What is an NCE? So we'll dive into that, and then kind of 3 tips or 3 ways we think we can leverage some of the existing Microsoft programs to help you on these stock tracks.
I guess James, before you move ahead with the slide deck, just a quick shout out to everyone on the call. Like if you guys have any questions, please put them in the chat. We have our awesome marketing team who are on this webinar with us, so they'll try to answer those questions as and when they come up. James and I will also try and answer them in the chat. If not, we'll just pick them all towards the end of the Q&A. And if you sort of have any questions as we go through the entire deck, we have a Q&A session towards the end as well, so you could bring up your questions there also.
Yeah, super good point. See, that teamwork, man, love what we do. Absolutely. And then maybe just to double down on that as well, you have your account managers, you have your contacts to our customer service team or customer success teams. So there too, any contact you have here, reach out to myself, to my colleague Alex, or my colleague Sam. So Alex LaFlamme, that would be, and Samuel Donovan on LinkedIn as well. Always happy to connect, and again, just help to simplify the cloud as we do. All right, so well, we're going to go a little bit of a journey here today, everyone. So no, just a really quick recap and a summary. We figure knowing where you're going is really important, but you also do have to have an idea of where you've been. For those of you who have already done this type of transition, so the legacy to NCE or the new commerce experience, this first part especially might not be as relevant for you anymore. But for those of you who are still on the legacy platform, definitely something we'd love to bore your ears here for a minute or two. So really quickly, what this is that Microsoft actually launched a new platform for what concerns billing recently. And this recently is going back just about 2 years now. Essentially, what this meant is that prior to 2022, you could order licensing from Microsoft. It might say monthly, it might say annual, but the term dates were not necessarily enforced, or your term duration rather wasn't necessarily enforced. This gave you some pretty neat advantages in the sense that you'd be able to cancel or adjust license quantities without penalty, without consequence. Likewise, when it came to just changing licenses, this can all be done almost on a whim. It was, hey, I have 3 people starting Monday, add 3 licenses, 2 people are leaving Friday, let's kick 2 off. And that was really as flexible as it was. It's quite endearing. It's quite flexible when we think of some of the other vendors out there. And this was Microsoft's way through for the longest time, since they really got into the cloud space, into the channel space, I should say. Building on that, again, some of the the ins and outs, I'd say, was the revenue, right? So when Microsoft is starting to look at how can we sort of secure cash flow predictability, both for themselves, for ourselves as CSPs, and for yourselves as resellers. Well, it was a little bit trickier when you didn't know if your customer was going to stay, if they can just leave, they could pull all their licenses, they could jump between providers, and it was very short-lived. Is kind of the way I used to see it. Was it is always in the here and now. There's no um, not stickiness, but there was no guarantee that the customer would be there tomorrow. It was just essentially just act quickly, and that was as much as we could do to maintain customers. Obviously, it's a little bit harder to build a business that with that approach. The flexibility, again, very much appreciated by end customers. However, for us on the business side, a lot of volatility, right? So what Microsoft came up with just 2 years ago now, or just about 2 years ago, was NCE, or the New Commerce Experience. And again, just highlighting some of the differences here. So the difference, if we're looking at the legacy, was really sell, just sell. It was very short term. It was get net new seats, upsells, and it was all just very, very focused, and I'd say very immediate. Whereas I do believe with the shift to NC, and we'll touch on that in the next couple of slides here, is a more long-term focus, a long-term approach to customer management, to that relationship building that we love to do. Um, so with that being said, again, just a really quick summary on legacy. I'm not. We assume most or many of you had experienced that at some point in time, but I'll let our colleague Nikhil speak to what NCE is and how what it means. Nikhil, what do you have to say about this?
Awesome. Thanks, James. So NCE, guys, I'm sure most of you all already are aware and you'll know about NCE. For those of you who aren't aware of what NCE is, it's Microsoft's new commerce experience, which came out in 2022, which was last year. So through the NCE program, what Microsoft did is try to unify their entire billing platform. It helps you resellers manage all of your subscriptions and bridge and brings seat-based cloud offers to the forefront. Uh, what this means is now all of your subscriptions, all of your licenses are now tied into real terms as compared to what we had with legacy subscriptions. So you can have multiple commitment terms, whether it's just a 1 month, if you want flexibility with your customers and have a month-to-month options. If you want a more dialed down approach and you want your customers more tied in to the term, you could have an annual term where you could pay annual paid upfront, so you pay for the entire term upfront, or you could even have annual paid monthly where it's an annual term and you're locked in, but you could still have the flexibility of paying month to month and you're not paying upfront for the entire year. There's also a 3-year option that Microsoft has, although the 3-year option is usually more on the dynamic side. Not really a lot of M365 SKUs have the 3-year options. So Microsoft is expanding the new commerce cloud portfolio, seat-based offers, not just to M365 like I spoke before, but it's also extending to everything Microsoft. So so that includes Dynamics 365, Power Platform, and their Windows 365 base as well. Key changes. So what does this mean for you? Again, I'm sure most of you guys who have been in the NC ecosystem have been Microsoft partners for quite some time. All of this still remains the same from what was there last year. There aren't any changes, but just to reiterate them for some of our partners who are new to the Microsoft ecosystem, or for those who are not aware of what changes NCE brought, and also what changes are coming for you guys who have legacy subscriptions and you all will be moving to NCE. So number one is, unlike the legacy platform, NCE subscriptions can only be canceled within the first 168 hours of the subscription terms. You can increase your license count anytime, so you can add more licenses anytime during the entire tenure that you have. But if you want to reduce licenses, if you want to cancel your subscription, especially if you're on an annual commitment, you need to do that within the first 168 hours of the term. If you try to make any changes after 168 hours are complete, Microsoft will not let you make any changes. And again, by any changes, I mean you could still add subscriptions, you can upgrade, but if you'd like to downgrade or if you'd like to cancel, you cannot do that, and you're then liable to pay for the entire term. You could get flexibility by going to a monthly term, but if you would like that flexibility, it also comes with a higher cost. So you would be paying around 20% higher if you would like a monthly term with flexibility as compared to an annual term for the same SKU. Uh, Customer subscriptions cannot be transferred between CSPs and partner tenants while you're on an annual commitment. So this is both a blessing as well as a curse for partners. A blessing in a way that your customers are now more locked in, so there's no chance of you losing them. You could actually retain them for much longer. And it's slightly a pain point as well for partners, because acquiring that new business usually means that you need to wait for your customers' entire term to end. And then when they reach renewals, that's when you could acquire new customers, get them moved over between CSPs, and get them transferred over. When it comes to trials, trials have a 25-seat minimum requirement, and any auto renews now in the NCE portal automatically go to a paid license, and they cannot be cancelled. So that's something that all of our partners should be aware of as well.
Yeah, perfect. And yeah, thanks so much for that, Nikhil. And I'll just say it because we're not all as smart as you, right? So 168 hours is a 7-day cancellation period for us laymen's. Another little point I wanted to make there around the monthly term offers. So indeed, there is that premium. What we're seeing a lot of partners do to still afford that flexibility, but obviously staying price conscious as we should. We're seeing a lot of partners go with whether it be an 80-20 or a 90-20, 90-10 split. So we'd suggest, or what we're seeing more so in the market, is that we'll see 80% of the licenses adhere to an annual term, as we can assume that 80% of the users would still be required, let's say, throughout the subscription. Whereas that 20% or that 10%, again, based on the individual customer at hand, that fluctuation on the monthly. So yes, you are paying their premium, albeit for 10% of the seats. Again, to have that flexibility, right? So even paying 20% more for 2 months out of the year is better than saving 20% for the entire 10 months. I believe Nikhil's my numbers guy, but that's my take on it. So that's obviously something we're seeing as a trend there. And the CSP transfers, that's something that's indeed something that we've had many discussions. We continue to have discussions with Microsoft in regards to. Indeed, it is a great stability. It is more of a guarantee for you partners who are doing great, who are offering that right type of service, who are listening and are attentive to your customers. Unfortunately, not all partners are created equal, and there may be one or two who just who aren't up to the same caliber as many of our partners. So in those situations, unfortunately, there is little that we can do to move between CSPs, as Nikhil mentioned, anywhere midterm. Sorry, just I know I talk a lot, but I just had to. I just wanted to make that point. That flexibility, that 80-20 it really is something we're seeing adopted quite heavily. I digress. Good. So yeah. So I'll carry on here. So if we're looking at some of the benefits again, so we saw the cancellation, the terms. So we're looking at the customer and how we can position this within our respective customer bases. It is the cost savings. Hey, you'll get to streamline your IT spend. It'll be a lot more predictable, as it won't fluctuate realistically once we're into some of these terms. Another benefit, right, in the last 2 years, the benefits and the loyalty, or probably the loyalty is my favorite. It is no longer are we there to sell a license, kind of get our dollar, so to speak, and on to the next. But now it's really about being strategic. It's really about building that long-term partnership. Again, we're shifting from that transactional relationship to really one that's long-term, that's holistically beneficial for customers. Again, so it's not just your modern work licensing, it is your modern work licensing with the security posturing, with your collaboration communication tools. AI is coming. So we're not helping you, we're not looking at the today or the month per se, but we're really going to start shifting our focus with our customers to be that of an annual, right? It's we have the commitment from the customer for the year. So let's make this year a great one, and let's lay the track for us to earn that business for year 2, for year 3, and really right through their digital transformation. So this is some of the positioning that we're recommending here. Some of the talking points that we've been able to share and to leverage both internally and through again some of our amazing partners. Like, Nikhil and I are the ones here saying it, but these are things that we really get from our amazing channel. Um, so again, just some ways that we can look at positioning it, and just to say that it's not all bad. NCE wasn't exactly welcomed with open arms by the entire Microsoft community. That being said, there are positives. It is here. There's a saying, if anyone used to watch a TV show called Doug way back in the day, and as you can't cry over spilled milk, like NCE is here. How do we find the positives in it? And these are the positives, and they are really good ones. Again, your customer is going to be better served. Where we're looking at what this means for partners as well. Well, here too, right? So Microsoft has done some really good work around the incentives, adding in some strategic accelerators. There's geographic accelerators as well. Also, if we look at any of these solution designations, formerly the silver, the gold competencies, if you look at the licensing that's now available to you, again, with Microsoft having this 1 year look into the future and predictability in regards to cash flow, well, now they can open up additional incentives, additional levers, and additional tools for us in the channel to be able to practice, play with our practice with what we get to play with. And then again, from a loyalty and a predictability here, I'm not going to say, okay, well, I don't know next month what my cash flow is going to be like. Well, I can firmly see I have these 50 customers or 5 customers, whatever that number is, for a set period of time. So again, these are great times. These terms are great for you to go and establish, reaffirm, and really show that additional value. So again, NCE, not unanimously accepted or applauded, but there are certainly positives there, and I think it's really important for us to take it away, especially because there is some news, as we kind of teased in the lead up to the show here today.
Yeah, I think James, maybe if I could just add something there as well. So
Please.
something that I would draw all partners' attentions towards, especially since we're talking about legacy, is on the first piece that we have here, which is incentives. So all of you guys who have legacy subscriptions and are on legacy, y'all are missing out on these incentives. Y'all are missing out on these cashbacks, like tier 1 incentive between 5 and 15%. So like assume you guys are getting like 15% cashback from Microsoft on a certain kind of SKU on the base of what your membership is. That does amount to a lot of money, and that does amount to a lot of cashback. So assume you as partners get your margins from Sherweb plus the cashback from Microsoft. That's like huge amounts of profits that y'all are just leaving on the table right now by still being on legacy. So if there's a lever for you to move from legacy to NC, this would definitely be one, and something that I would definitely consider as to why you as a partner should move all of your subscriptions from legacy to NC.
See that, Nikhil, you complete me. You're the numbers guy, and go get that profitability. And I'm just like, just make some friends and stay close, and let's do this all together. So
The dream team.
The yin to my yang, man, we're great. Yeah, but really, really well said. Again, like I did glaze through it, and yeah, there's a ton of money there. And again, just while we're on the topic of patting ourselves on the back here, we have the privilege of working with a gentleman named Alex of Flam. He probably proofread the partner program nomenclature. So he's a really, really smart guy. If ever you're looking to get the most out of your incentives, the most out of your partnership with Microsoft, do leverage us. You can speak to Microsoft that we're second to none in the industry, especially in that regard. We're going to help you get every percent and every dollar out of these programs, support you throughout these programs as well, as I'll touch on a little bit later as well. But yeah, we're here to support and again help you maximize this part of your business. Good. So we kind of put next steps here. We just wanted to show some of the timeline. And if anyone kind of jumps to the right of the screen here, we can see there's a pretty important date upcoming here, and it is fast approaching. So just a really quick skim through the timeline here in terms of when NCE was first launched. So again, we're going back a year and a half now. From there, we saw the end of legacy renewals. So everything forward as of June generally was said to have been unavailable on the legacy platform and kind of forcing these moves to NCE. And then just last year, we had the end of the legacy incentives, as Nikhil mentioned. There's easily 20% there for partners once you have the associated designation or competency. So we're looking at 20% there. So that's been a year for anyone who still has customers or still have your own account on legacy. Do keep that in mind that it's 20%. Or potentially up to, and in many cases, substantially above 20% per month that has been left on the table. So again, we just want to bring some attention to that. Then most importantly, the deprecation of the legacy platforms. So that's kind of the big news. I'd be hard pressed to say it's news. It's something that has been discussed, whether through the Partner Center announcements, Microsoft blogs announcements, and so on. But we do have the date. It is, again, very, very fast approaching. We're almost mid-October here, so we're just about a month and a half away. 2.5 months. Nikhil's my numbers guy. So we're getting right up against it, is what I'm trying to say here. And this is this year. So we're right here, somewhere in the middle here. So again, with the deprecation of the legacy platform, there are some changes to be expected. Okay, so your incentives, again, we can't understate it. The incentives are a big motivator. They should be. Again, if you're not leveraging those incentives, please do reach out. There is so much money that you're potentially leaving out there. It's just a shame to see Bill Gates just get that much richer. So here's what we're up to when we're looking at the deprecation and how we're going to help to manage this. We're starting really right with today. We had that in a communication about 3 weeks ago now to all those who had accounts at NCE. So presumably you have received that. If ever you did not receive that, we would strongly recommend for you to jump into our Cumulus platform and just update the contact that's in there. Really important. If we are sending it to someone who's no longer at the company and their emails aren't being redirected to somebody else, while these are falling into the abyss and there's potentially some really good info, good is relative. There's some really relevant info that could be that might not be making it to you. I digress. Anything to add there, Nikhil?
Yeah, I think just to add a little bit more, James, to what you said. So when we say deprecation of the legacy platform, what we're referring to is just the commercial licenses and not everything legacy. So just so our partners are not confused. What that means is if you have a GCC or a nonprofit or an education license right now, Microsoft at this point does not have an NCE equivalent, so that means that you can't really go from the legacy license to the NCE license because Microsoft doesn't have it themselves. What we know is those licenses are coming somewhere in 2024. So when they do, we will get in touch with you all and help you all with the migration path for those. But those licenses are not affected right now. It's only your commercial licenses which are affected and are a part of this migration path and the recommendation that we're giving you guys. And with everything that James said, right? If you guys have any questions, if y'all are not sure about how do you talk to your customers, not sure about incentives, not sure what NCE is, use us, use your account managers. We're here to help you. We're here to make sure that you guys, you partners can have these conversations with your customers. And we do want to be your value-added CSP. So we have all of the tools and resources, the right people as well at Sherweb to help you have those conversations. So get in touch with us and let us help you.
Exactly. Yeah, and we've been put on the slide here in case Nikhil or I, for whatever reason, didn't say enough. We can help. We are here to help. We know we're 1,400 strong, 1,400 plus stronger at Sherweb there, and again, all with our eyes forward, our eyes on you, on our channel, on our customers here. So Here's what we'd suggest as some steps or some actions that we can start to take. And I say we intentionally here. So this would be generally led by yourself, by your team, but we are here to support. And again, with some suggested steps here. So first, in terms of identifying the affected customers, and we say affected, as Nikhil mentioned, these are not GCC or government subscribers. These are not not for profit. These are not academic licenses either. These are really in the commercial space. If ever you don't know if you have NCE or legacy licensing remaining with one of your customers that maybe you haven't had a touch point with in some time, or you haven't maybe gone through and just done an update or validation of their licensing, um, definitely do reach out. Again, we do have these lists, a list that Nikhil and I probably look at most days here as we inch closer to the end of the year. In terms of identifying destination licensing, so an analogy I like to use for this one is just because I have wood panels on my walls right now with my shag carpet and flowered couch, doesn't mean in the new house, as I look to move here, as I look to upgrade, as I look to move forward, that I need to bring that old flowered couch that's been in the family for generations. Like maybe it's a good time for me to upgrade. Maybe it's the right time for me to get a couch that's maybe a little bit bigger because we're at 2 kids in the house now, or maybe it's no more wood panels, but we're gonna paint. Imagine that. So like these are things that we can do. So you're not just transposing, but you're really looking to optimize through the process. So if we can find room to solidify their security posture, to help them communicate or collaborate more efficiently, run better, more engaging meetings. These are all opportunities, conversation starters, if you will, but these are really good um, opportunities, again, for us to help deliver value to our customers. And as always, communicating with them, letting them know, hey, look, this is what's happening. There are Microsoft documents that are available publicly online, so you can even link to that there too. Let us know if you need any supporting documents there. We can definitely share anything that's available from Microsoft. And the next step from there would be to convert the licensing. So here too, you can let us know if you have some really large orgs, you have many orgs that are maybe 1 or 2 licenses in the tenant there, or even 3 or 4. Right, I am just saying trivial numbers here, but let us know if there's anything that we can do. We absolutely will. We are looking at some kind of mass movements here. Although we're a larger company, we're still small enough to understand the importance of right sizing and not just going with a one size fits all approach. So again, just leverage us as much through this process as you could need. Just a bounce an idea. If it is my customers have a lot of business standard. I'm not quite sure how to drive that conversation into business premium. Great. We love that stuff. My colleague Sam loves this stuff. This is the pings me most days and says, James, just business premium just makes me so happy. And I'm so safe and so secure, and I get to do such a good thing. So again, these are conversations we love to be a part of. Do engage us. Let us support you in these. Moving licenses, sign customers, there may be a cost difference. It's not always fun. But if we can wrap that with some good news, with some enablement, with some even dreams of the future, if we start to look at Copilot and what that benefit and those values could be, it doesn't necessarily have to be a very difficult or a very painful conversation. It's a question of framing, and again, we're all in. We're here for that. So tag us in and let us know how we can help.
Yep. And maybe quickly, James, I'm actually seeing a few questions where people are asking how do they know if they have legacy SKUs. And then I can see our awesome marketing team and even Alex from our sales team has been answering questions. So yes, if you do have legacy SKUs and legacy subscriptions, I would say the easiest hack is when you log into Cumulus, and if you have NCE against your SKU name, that's a way to know if you have an NCE SKU or a legacy SKU. But I understand that if you're a large partner, you have like hundreds and thousands of organizations. Like looking at that and seeing that by every organization is difficult. In that case, get in touch with us. We are definitely here to help you. We can help you out and identify who those customers are, what SKUs they have, and also help them with a migration path as to what SKU we recommend they move on to. we have been communicating with all affected legacy accounts. So you should have received an email from us. You will see more communications from us as well. Emails, beamers, notifications in your Cumulus platform, where we are contacting affected accounts who have legacy subscriptions. We also have an NCE guide in there, which helps you, our partners, move from legacy to NCE. So if you're not sure how do you migrate, we have a guide with step-by-step instructions along with screenshots, which says, now you click here, now you click here, now you click here, and you're done. So we are here to help you. We have all of the resources that you need. But like I reiterated before, and James has as well, if you're not sure how to do this, get in touch with us, get in touch with your account manager. If you're not sure who your account manager is, once you log into Cumulus, there's a help icon or a support icon at the top right. You could just click on that, and that would show you who your account manager is and how do you get in touch with them as well.
Well said. Well said. Well said. Keep me honest. And it's again really important. Reach out again. It's not just kind of here's this thing from Microsoft and Godspeed, but we really are here to assist in any way that we can. So as we were saying, it's not all bad news here. There are some changes. There's your customers as well should be assured that you're not in it just to sell a license, but you really are invested at least for that year. And if you have any chance at winning their business for year two, again, well, you have to meet those needs, right? So it should be reassuring to everyone involved, at least in that sense. We did want to add some conversations again, like sometimes just calling for less than ideal news. We get it; it's the reality here. Like we definitely understand. So here are just some ideas or some ways that we think we can help to help bridge that communication. So here's an initiative from Microsoft. Sorry, my screen's really wonky today. But here's an initiative from Microsoft. As I was saying, I apologize. SMB briefings. So this is the workshop formerly known as SMB workshops. So this is the initiative that launched by Microsoft. The idea here is that you would gather some of your customers into a Teams meeting or into an in-person event, and essentially with a 90-minute workshop or a 90-minute briefing, with the idea to enable or to empower your customers, whether that be from a training, from a hey, did you know standpoint. And Microsoft does have some pre-made tracks or slide decks, as well as facilitator prep, social media assets. There's demo environments, and there's something else I really appreciated about it. Oh, the facilitator prep. It'll essentially tell you some of the things to do prior to starting a webinar. Like Nikhil and I definitely followed, as you see my my camera challenges here today. But all the things to deliver a successful, well-tailored, and well-planned event. And again, around if we look this to the bottom of the screen, some predefined talking points. So if we're looking at Teams Essentials, Teams Phone, Defender for Business, Windows 365, these are tracks that are pre-made. There's very little lift required for you as a partner. It's really as simple as identifying which customers and then inviting them in. So one, driving that awareness, creating awareness around the Microsoft space, your services, your solutions. This is under in the realm of Microsoft, if you will, as the content is there. We also understand that you may be offering Microsoft adjacent solutions. Something like our own Office Protect, for example, could be a great value add to one of these conversations. So as long as we're in the framework of the Microsoft briefing, definitely these workshops are intended to be your own, absolutely with a focus on the SMB space. And really business premium, I'd say, is ultimately, again, one of our favorite conversations. But it's going to be either net new customer, maybe it's a potential you just want to show off to your capabilities, vent to what you and your team could do, what services and solutions you can bring forward, but also from an upsell opportunity, right? So it's phishing and ransomware are way up, and there's all kinds of crazy stats, and it's not so much my style in terms of the scares there, but there's a very good reason to be fearful. A really, really good reason to be mindful. And again, having that solution by partnering with Microsoft, or just really, it's kind of a low hanging fruit way to go about it. So having good messaging, having pre-made content, having social media assets, having the talk tracks are all really good and really, really valuable. But there's just nothing quite as valuable as cash dollars. So this is another really fun part of the incentive here. You could be looking at up to $2,500 per workshop. I'll just pause for half a second, and that per workshop, if I had a hint to say without saying here today, that would be it. If you play this out right, if you know you have 15 customers who could potentially be interested in such a thing, you could be looking at 7,500 beans in no time. Not to say this is a 90 minutes in and out and the checks in the mail. There is some work, there is approved execution, there are some steps that are required. So namely, so like a screenshot having a list of the attendees, their contact, their tenant ID, among some of the other facets. But again, it's not nearly as heavy or as convoluted as some other vendors out there may have similar programs. So again, 90 minutes in front of your customers. This can be your own customers, brand new customers. 90 minutes speaking to what you're able to offer them in the Microsoft space. That alone could net you $25. Never mind all the potential and all the seeds you'll have planted in your customers, just knowing what's possible for them. Again, why you're the right partner to support their business going forward. And these sessions are great. Just that interaction, you'll see one ask a question, the other one's going to build off it. We did something similar in our SMB Masters recently, just through the summer here. And to see so many really bright minds in a room and everyone just building and feeding off each other, that excitement, that energy, it really is contagious. So again, a really great initiative. It pays. It serves you both now. It's going to serve you and your customers going forward as well. So do leverage this. You can say, hey, look, I want to talk to you a little bit about Business Premium. After this briefing, after this workshop, let's book a one-to-one. I want to talk to you about your licensing, because as we're going through, you had this question. You're worried about device security, as you asked me through the workshop. So perfect. So you can gather your leads during these briefings and go back and close them out as part of this transition. And this is eligible. I'm saying as part of the transition here, but this is eligible for NCE to NCE customers as well. Again, the objective always being to upsell, to offer more value. But again, a great initiative. If you're not yet super well informed, here too, do reach out. You can also plug in SMB briefings in the old Google machine. You can definitely pull up some content there through your partner center as well. Again, reach out. We'll gladly share this with you post haste. Yeah, just added details there. Boom. So that was kind of the first thing, was SMB briefings. There's a way for you to get out in front of customers and communicate efficiently and speak to the future and the power within Microsoft and your company as a very crucial part to that Microsoft success. If that wasn't enough, well then how about some promotions? Everyone loves a promotion. My favorite, because it let me edit a slide. I got to put a nice orange box. I am so fancy around my favorite promo over here on the right. Although the other two are great as well, right? So if we're looking at Windows 365, it's a really great for the uninitiated here. We're looking at a cloud PC that can be deployed in minutes or less virtually. It's uber scalable, super easy to manage, whether remote. So a ton of value there. You can actually get this for free for 1 month. Teams Essentials, I mentioned some of the teams and the calling components and the converged communications. This is a real thing. I was just speaking about this with a partner earlier today. we're seeing that uptick in the market. We're seeing our license counts, I won't say double. So it was pretty healthy, but it's definitely steadily increasing. So again, if you're not a Teams aficionado, if telecom is just something that is somewhat of the boogeyman, not to worry. Again, we have a full telco team here. We can support you on a native team solution all the way through a really advanced call center solution as well, with all the bells and whistles, door phones, faxing, call recording, whispering and barging and queue reporting, all the trinkets that any business could need, and all the data essentially to be able to empower them to make more informed decisions going forward. And then the last one here is the M365 E3. So another really outstanding promo. This was set to expire in July, then it was set to expire in September. But the success and the adoption has really been quite special, so much so that Microsoft has extended this all the way until June 2024. So we still have some runway left on this one. This will be a 15% discount on ME3 when it is the first purchase. So if ever they had a trial of ME3, unfortunately, that would exempt them from this promotion. However, if they did have an O365 E3, going to an M365 E3 would absolutely be a valid path to be able to leverage this promo. So again, reach out, let us know. These promos are some others as well. They only let me put so much on the slide here, so we get 3, and these are our faves. But again, some really, really good value out there. If you're looking for a reason to call to get in touch, well, again, friendly ground, friendly conversation starters, as it were. And what kind of webinar would it be in the back half of 2023 if we didn't say Copilot at least 5 times? So I'm going to go for it here. M365 Copilot. This is an amazing tool. There are a lot of really curated videos out there. I'd be lying to say there was a ton of very, very in terms of what's publicly available, there's little in terms of a full demo, but the video content that Microsoft released, whether it be at Inspire or recently in some of their presentations, it is a really, really impressive product. We've had the chance to dabble with it just to say here, and you can see what the future holds for it is going to be incredibly impressive. It is going to be a game changer. We have some informal, very, very friendly bets here internally, just to what extent this is going to shake up the market. No one of us is expecting kind of a ripple. We are all seeing this as tidal waves. When we're looking at the creativity, their productivity. To give you an idea, in terms of responding to an email, you can put in a blurb. It's tell Nikhil, thanks for saving me from living in the numbers. And it's going to write out a 3-paragraph thing. I can adjust the length. I can adjust the intonation if it's more casual or direct. And that's just for emails in terms of summarizing your emails and summarizing your day. We're going to surely do probably about 6 webinars on Copilot once we can go more on about it here, and I won't bore you all here today. Do take a look at some of the Copilot material or collateral that's out there. Again, if you haven't seen it or you don't have access to that, do let us know. We'll share whatever is publicly available with you. There are some decks. There are an AI readiness, talk tracks, and social media assets, again, that are all available from Microsoft. So again, if you're looking for that conversation, that reason to reach out to your customer, again, it's always that eyes on the future. It's how can we support them going forward. AI is one of these things, with Copilot in particular. It's one of these things where, to quote Ricky Bobby here, if you're not first, you're last. This is going to move so quickly, is that you have to be ready in terms of having your data set up, having the right licensing. You have to be ready, because once this hits the market, it is going to take everything that all of us are doing and amplify that. I'll take another analogy from again, from one of our gurus here, and Alex Laflamme, and we'll equate this to the car. It's sure I can walk from I'm in Montreal. I'm in the other side of the border here, so I'm in Montreal, and I can walk to Boston. Sure, I could. So it's not AI. It's I can definitely do that, but AI will get me there akin to a car, right? So I can walk, and it might take me maybe 3-4 weeks, or I can drive and make it in 6-7 hours. This is what AI is going to be able to do. So you take that into manpower, or man hours, or woman hours, for that matter. This is an extreme boost to productivity. Um, I just can't say it. I can't say it enough. We have to get on this quickly, because again, if you're 2 months behind than AI, it's exponential. That 2 months might as well be 24 months. So again, good conversations to be having. We love to brainstorm about this stuff. I'm trying to reel it in a little bit and let you guys go home, or go back to your days here at some point. But again, these are conversations we love to have, and I really do mean that. Um, there's tons of content available, support and such. So um, yeah, that's kind of what we had in store for you guys today.
Yeah, I think James, if I could just add a little bit more to the Copilot and AI conversation. So like you said, right? It is amazing. It is great. We've been lucky enough to get preview to look at it at Sherweb. So I can definitely assure everyone on this call and all of our partners that once you guys have it in your hands and once it's available to everyone, it's going to be game changing when it comes to taking your productivity to the next level. James and I do like to joke internally that this is going to be the next best thing after sliced bread, and it is definitely going to be that. And piggybacking to everything that we spoke about earlier in the presentation today, right? Legacy to NCE. So as you're talking to your customers, think about Copilot. Think about these amazing features that are coming. So as you move your customers from legacy to NCE, don't just sort of do a parity move. If you guys want to have the best of Copilot, we'd recommend you go to a business premium, an E3 or an E5. Microsoft has an E3 promo, like James had on one of the previous slides. Leverage the promo, leverage the incentives, leverage James, myself, Alex Raflam, who's another SME to help you with the Microsoft incentives. So when you put all of those things together, uh, you as partners do get a lot bang for your buck as you move your customers from legacy to NCE. So that's how you could have much more fruitful conversations with your customers, and not just go up to them and be like, you need to move from legacy to NCE. But if you sort of latch onto the co-pilot conversation, you latch onto the incentives that you get, you latch onto the promotions that are there, and the Sherweb margins and the added value that Sherweb brings to you, uh, it's sort of a win-win conversation and a win-win move for not just for us but for you as partners as well, right? So use all of these levers as you talk to as you talk to your customers. Copilot, as most of you all know, is already available for EA, which is enterprise customers. It is coming to
It's
CS
coming up soon.
it's coming to CSP, so it will be available to all of you guys soon as well. We unfortunately don't have a date yet, which I'm sure most of you all would be interested to know, but it is coming in 2024. Early 2024 is all we know. So as you'll move from legacy to NCE, get AI ready, ensure that your SKUs are Copilot ready and Copilot supported. So once Copilot launches, you'll already have the basics that are needed, and then you just need to get Copilot, and like you could go full steam ahead.
And yeah, so those are some of the again, the highlights, the conversation starters that we have. Keep us honest. Why we always challenge people here is keep us honest. Like maybe these aren't avenues that you feel will work for a particular customer type. We're a lot of people here. There's a lot of brain power behind us. Adding into what you know about your customer, like we'll help you and make that tailored approach for that customer. Again, we're big, but we're not so big that we're heartless here. So we're willing to get as nitty gritty as possible. Again, all in an effort to drive the right experience for customers at the end of the day. Um, with that being said, and with 4 whole minutes left here, we'll see if there are any questions. This is my second or third favorite webinar platform.
So one of our unanswered questions yet, James, is what's Copilot going to cost?
Oh, so that we do know. We do know in USD. So we're looking at here is going to be a $30 per user per month add-on. So if you have an E3 or you have a E5 or business premium, for example, it would be $30 additionally. So we understand it's off-putting. I know the initial reaction online wasn't entirely favorable. If you look at the Google offerings, Google launched a similar AI product in Google Duet. Um, Similarly or exactly the same pricing. It's off-putting at first glance, but once you see the efficiency gains, $30 per month is really going to be a joke if you don't save an hour at least per week using Copilot. I'd almost wager that you're doing it wrong. And there too, by the time this launches, we'll have a way to we'll have some more content, more guidance, more collateral prompts, and some of the best ways to leverage it and how to go about pulling that full value out of Copilot. But again, yeah, $30 to the pointed question there. $30 per user per month is the announced price of Copilot. No changes expected, but that's what we know so far.
Yeah, I guess just to add a disclaimer there, that's Microsoft's list price, which is the MSRP. That's the price that they've announced, which it most likely would cost. We don't really know the final price yet. As most of you are aware, Microsoft is notorious for making last minute changes. So what we know as the $30 price is what they've announced. As we get closer to launch and when Microsoft makes more details available, that's when obviously we can communicate with all of you all as to what's the actual cost going to be like, what's it going to look like for you as a partner, for your customer as well. And you'll obviously be able to see that in Cumulus, which is our billing platform. You could get in touch with your account manager if you have more questions. But we don't really know all of those details yet. So as and when they come up and as and when we have that, we'll share those with you guys for sure.
So, maybe I guess a last note or two in closing here. Generally speaking, we will share the deck as well as the recording of this presentation here today. Excuse me. This will generally be done in the next 7 to 10 business days. So do keep your eyes peeled. Should you want to circle back, comb through, draw additional inspiration, again, feel free to reach out. We'll do this live, real time on Teams. And gladly walk through any of these more specific scenarios that you may encounter. And like Nikhil mentioned, if ever you have any trouble reaching out to your rep, or if ever you haven't been reached out to regarding legacy, you know you have some licensing there. Again, do log into Cumulus. The top right, as Nikhil mentioned, you'll see a help icon. Do reach out. Alternatively, LinkedIn. Drop us an email. I think we even have a contact thing here. Ta-da, partners at Sherweb. So you can always reach out there as well for anything else that we can do. With that being said, and without letting myself go into another monologue, I will wish you all a very wonderful evening and afternoon. Nikhil, thank you so much for being here again and saying all the things my little mind just can't remember. And again, it's probably providing additional value as you do. To all of you in attendance again, have a really great day. To Alex and all those in the chat there, thank you so much for all your questions, and Alex for just knowing everything. What a smart guy. So yeah, we really appreciate everyone. Have a really, really wonderful day.
Thanks, guys.